Hey guys, what's going on? It's your boy Rakeem here again with another episode with Unpacked. And yeah, man, if you're new to my channel, please, you know what to do. And yeah, man, thank you guys for tuning in. Today, I have another special guest in the building, my peoples. And just to let you guys know what you guys can expect from this episode, she's going to talk to me about her upbringing, how she felt she didn't really fit into the Bengali culture, how she thought that she was going to go on a holiday back home, but things ended up different, the challenges that she faced going to an Islamic school, her dating experience before she met her ex-husband, and what her marriage was like, and actually how things turned out and ended. But yeah, man, we're gonna get into a lot more things. But guys, without further ado, let's give it up for Lala, my peoples, and let's get the clapping, man. Let's get the clapping. You gotta get the clapping. You gotta get the clapping. You're not gonna clap. There we go. There we go. We gotta clap. We gotta clap. We gotta clap. But first of all, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Honestly, I appreciate it. I know it's been a long day, but you made it.
Yeah, we
Finally
did.
made it. And so I want to thank you for coming on here. And yeah, man, we're going to get straight into it. You know, before we get into the nitty and gritty, just give me like a little insight of what your upbringing was like, and then we'll take it from there.
I had a very, very fun upbringing. I was very integrated with all my cousins, and like for me, my parents only have 2 children, me and my brother, which is very weird for a Bengali couple because Bengali people like to have many children. However, my dad was the eldest and in his family, and my mum was the second eldest, but they had like 4 brothers, 4 sisters, but each basically they belonged to a big family, so we was heavily involved in like grandparents' houses, being with our cousins. So that integration was like really good, like in my upbringing, like the sense of like family, community, closeness. So yeah.
Okay. Very, very close. And how many siblings do you have, by the way?
Just one brother.
One
Just
brother,
me
yeah.
and my brother, yeah.
Just you and your brother.
Yeah, there's like 6 years between us.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. And you were pretty much born back home.
Yeah,
like,
so I was born back home, which is hard to believe, but I came very young, like I might as well have been born here. Okay. So
not even a month in.
yeah, less than that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was born back home, and I take pride in that, because when people come and say to me, "Oh, are you Bengali?" Because obviously, like the way I look, my aesthetic, it doesn't always fit into like what a Bengali girl should look like. Culture, like, you know, the cultural expectations. I'm dark skinned, I'm 5'7", curly hair. Do you know what I mean? So I take pride to say I was born in Bangladesh. You know what I mean? Like I'm more Bengali than you.
yeah.
So yeah,
that's the one upper hand you had, of course. Yeah, man. And like you basically you came over here, and you felt like, you know, you grew up in a certain way, that wasn't fitted into. I'm trying to find the right words. You grew up in a way that sort of like diverged you from, like, is it the religion, the culture, etc. So first you got used to, you know, being a certain way, and so then
basically,
if I got it right.
So basically, for me, is that my mom's a city girl and my dad's a country boy.
Yeah.
So my mom actually was born in the capital, Dhaka, and my dad, even though both my parents are from Sylhet, and my mom was born in Dhaka, but my dad is from Sylhet, but he was more in the countryside. Yeah. So, which is, I love that, having that combination. So my mom herself and her siblings, they didn't, when you have city life compared to the country, you're already a bit advanced. They studied there. My granddad was very well off, and he had a rubber plantation, so he used to export rubber. So he was very well traveled. All my mum's siblings were very well traveled. They traveled, they were all educated, and because my granddad had 2 wives. Okay. So he had 2 wives, Nan 1 and Nan Part 2. That's what we call them. Yeah. But the way he integrated his family, I think it took me ages to even realize which Nan was which uncle or aunt's mum, because they were so close. And he had his 2 wives and he raised his children in the city, that their cousins that were in Sylhet used to come and visit them. They were like the popular family, and they would come and stay with them. So for me, like, they were more close, and there was no normally in a patriarchal, like, Sylheti family, there's a hierarchy. The brothers and sisters, the cousins, are not too close, probably because of religious reasons and whatever. So, but my mom's family, we didn't have that. They didn't have that, and they were very close. Whereas my dad's family is a bit more strict, a bit more patriarchal, religious. The siblings wouldn't really integrate. I think when they were young, they would play together, but I think they get to a certain age, and it just like everybody knows their quarters. You know, when even Islamically they say like cousins, and you know they shouldn't like chill together or whatever it is, non-mahrams and whatever. So saying that, my dad actually adopted a lot of like my mom's lifestyle. And so growing up, I never really had a Sylheti experience. I had Sylheti cousins, but it was mainly my mom and her siblings. So it wasn't very traditional for me. And my parents, they used to go to different like shows and stuff like that. Then they enjoyed life. Like I saw my parents, my uncles, my aunts from my mum's side doing things that, like, you know, going to parties and wearing their traditional clothes, and it's completely different from like my dad's side of the family. So growing up like that, and then it was like me and my cousin at that time, we were very open. We were the eldest, so we were like very open to that. You know what I mean? And obviously, like my uncles, they were very like open-minded, free. So then going to school and now identifying as Bengali, and we didn't speak Sylheti. We grew up speaking what we call Shuddha Bhasha, which is the language in Dhaka, basically. That's what they speak. So I never even knew how to speak Sylheti properly. I understood it, but my dad didn't speak to me. And my mum's family didn't speak it at all, like to us. And then like even my dad's siblings, they chose to speak Shuddha to us. So I didn't know a Sylheti thing. Do you know what I mean? And even like on Eid day, we never, like when I hear about like some of my followers now, and they have like on Eid day, it was like a big preparation. Whereas Eid, my mum would buy us like nice trainers and like dresses, like more Western clothes. We didn't have a traditional Eid how like a Sylheti family would have.
Okay, I got you.
So having that experience, and then going to school and saying, oh, I'm Bengali, and they're like, well, you're not, because how can you be Bengali? You know what I mean? You don't, like people ask me, are you Indian? Are you this? And I was quite embarrassed, because I was like, oh my God, like there's Bengali kids here, but they're not speaking my language. And I'm like, why don't I know it? And when I used to go to my grand's house, which is like my dad's mum's house, she used to speak to me in Sylheti. And when my mum used to call me, I used to feel embarrassed to speak to my mum in Shuddha, because everybody would kind of laugh. But I don't think they were laughing to like mock me, but more laugh to like, oh, it's cute, like she's speaking like that. Do you know what I mean? So that's where the experience actually growing up. I didn't have a Sylheti experience growing up.
And you wasn't dressing alike, and you wasn't.
No, my mum wasn't actually. Like my family are obviously Muslim. My mum was praying as well, but my mum wasn't covering. She dressed modestly. Her sisters all dressed modestly, but they wasn't covering. They were in spaces that I guess a traditional like Sylheti women wouldn't go. Do you know what I mean?
I got you.
So then that was basically my childhood. It was loads of fun. Like my parents used to travel all the time. We used to go to they used to go to parties, and you know, we had a lot of experiences. Like my mum loved to go to France. She would be like, tell your dad, like, let's go to France for the weekend or for the day or whatever. And then eventually my mom,
this is the moment, like, sorry to cut you off, by the way. Is that the moment when your mom was turning more closer to the religion? And is that the part where she met a sister at work?
That's when, so when my mom was working, she met this sister who also spoke Shuddha like her, so I guess that's why they became friends. But the sister was quite religious, and she was giving like my mum dawah, like, you know, whatever, and teach my mum new things, and then my mum started her journey. But then her journey became our journey. But it wasn't our journey by choice. It was our journey because it was her journey. Do you know what I mean? And then from that, barring the religion, she was in more heavily silly spaces. So then the cultural expectations had now turned to us, me in particular. And it also, me growing up, like, all my cousins are boys. In my dad's side of the family, all my cousins are boys. I come from like my mum's family where everybody is very free and very open, and we hang out together, chill together. Like, there is no, it's quite fluid. Whereas like my dad's family, it's like when the uncles are in the front room, we're not going in the front room, and the women are in the kitchen. So all my cousins are boys, mainly my age group in my dad's family. There's like 13 years difference between me and my oldest cousin, that's a girl, and that's my oldest auntie's daughter, and there's 13 years difference between me and my youngest cousin, that was girl at the time, who was my other auntie's daughter. Amongst me, my age, it's all the man them. So that's how I grew up. But then it got to an age where I guess, you know, when you hit puberty and you're growing and they're separating you now, you know what I mean? Like, oh, why is she always with the boys, whatever. But it was almost like it was my fault. Why am I hanging out with them? But that's all I know. Do you know what I mean? That's all I knew.
Like, you know, cousins and a brother and etc.
And so that's when like that kind of shifted. And then when my mum got a bit religious, then it's like, I wore shorts when I was younger. I wore whatever I wanted. Like my mum dressed me like that. Do you know what I mean? Whereas like then it was like, oh, you know, your daughter shouldn't be dressing like that, this, that, and the other. And I was in primary school these times. And growing up, I grew up in a place called the Isle of Dogs. It's in East London, and it's an island. And at that time, there wasn't many Bengali families there. But if there were, the girls wasn't outside playing out in the park or anything like that. It was predominantly very white, and probably a handful of, say, people of color. So all my friends were actually either white or black. And I was the only Bengali kid, Bengali girl. Yeah, just out playing run-outs, playing football, playing whatever. Do you know what I mean? And at that time, it didn't bother my mum as such. But I think where she was getting more religious and the people was like talking, and I'm getting older now and getting, do you know what I mean? Like going into secondary school, whatever. I think that took a toll on her for her to like now implement that you shouldn't do these things. And it's just, it wasn't never even explained. Like it was just like,
and people also encouraged your mom, if I'm correctly, to ask you to cover up, if that makes sense. So people start coming to your mom and saying, why is your daughter not wearing the scarf and etc.
But then my mom put me into an Islamic school.
Yeah, that's what we're going to get into that. What was that actually like actually going into an Islamic school? And was that straight from primary? Like when you finished year 6, did you straight away go into Islamic school from there? So you've never experienced high school?
So basically, my mom decided that at year 7, I was going to go to an Islamic private school. And she just decided I don't even remember the process, because I wanted to go to a secondary school, and me and my friends were, you know, like you're planning what secondary school you're going to go to and whatever. And then all of a sudden my uniform is like green sewa kameez, and then you have to wear the abaya and the niqab. And even my aunties were shocked, because at that time my aunties weren't practicing. So they were like, what the hell? And my mom was like, no, you guys can't tell. Like this is, you know what I mean? And then, so I went there, and it was like, as I met some of my best friends there, I'm not going to lie. However, the initial experience was so bad, because living in the Isle of Dogs and having a diverse group of friends, to now going to a school that is in East London still, predominantly Bengali area, predominantly everybody's Bengali there. I already was sticking out like a sore thumb amongst the Bengalis in the island, let alone go there and everyone's looking at you like, do you know what I mean? And the experience, because it was a culture shock for me. And then obviously adjusting to like religious expectations, rules, all of that. I hated it. Year 7, I think I hated it. I hated it a lot because I couldn't find my friendship circle. Do you know what I mean? And I'm a people's person. I can walk into a room and be friends with everybody. Do you know what I mean? That's just who I am. And I couldn't grasp it there and I was like, well, what's wrong? Like, do you get it?
Could it be because it was, sorry to cut you off, could it be because you were used to certain type of friends, and then when you went into the Islamic school, it was like now the complete opposite? So you wasn't almost prepared for it, like 1 minute you're here and the next minute, boom, now you're straight into an Islamic school. Because sometimes we grow up as kids going to Quran lessons and etc. But then if you don't end up going to Islamic school, you know, at least that's a bit, you know,
you can wean yourself in. Yeah.
I wouldn't say better, but it, like, you know, it makes it easier to adapt. That'll be the right answer. So, but like, I can imagine, do you know what I mean, to go from that to now completely from A to Z. So I get what you're saying. And in year 9, you got kicked out. What was the reason?
But by then, I had met some good friends.
Yeah.
And then, so, like, a couple of the friends that I've had, like, that I've gelled with were a bit like me, you know, some from South London, Northwest London, whatever. I'm like, okay, that's my tribe.
Yeah.
And then I think by year 9, I came up, I had my own crew. Do you know what I mean? And that was good. We were like on a badness together, but we had our own little cult, you know?
Okay.
I got kicked out because I was bringing in Walkmans and magazines and stuff like that, which was breaching, obviously, like the school rules. And
you were on a matting.
And I wanted to be wearing my Air Maxes, you know, under my abaya, and you know, so they were like, "Yeah, you're doing too much." So eventually, but I think that was like the best day of my life.
That's pretty strict though. Like, you know,
I missed my friends though. I'm not gonna lie. I missed them because they obviously finished the school, and by then I had found my feet, and by then I had my crew. You know what I mean? And then, but again, I went to a secondary school on the island, which had all my original OG mates that I grew up with.
This is after you got kicked out.
So I ended up going there. And that had all my OG mates that I grew up with. And I was like, you know.
You felt like that's the part where you felt like you had freedom. Is that the correct?
Freedom and just being at home. Because like when you go to primary school, you go to school with the same people and you expect to go to secondary school with the same people. You know what I mean? And then like now I'm back with my original lot. Do you know what I mean?
With the OGs.
With the real OGs.
No, I feel you. So we're gonna fast forward a little bit. So at 16, this is like there was a moment where you felt like you went on a holiday with the family, and I feel like a lot of people could relate to this because you went back home. You thought you was gonna go on holiday for like 6 weeks, and this is with your family, parents, etc. You went over there, down into Bangladesh. Talk to me from there.
So, after we finished school, supposed to go to college, but all of a sudden there's this like talk of like, we're going to Bangladesh. And okay, cool, we're going. But it was almost, but then I don't know, but I'm hearing that my dad sold his house. They've sold our house, right?
In the UK?
Yeah. So the house that we were living, they sold it.
Okay.
And we're moving. Right. But I didn't know we were moving. We were just told we're going there 6 weeks, we can come back.
Yeah.
And we went. And we actually went to like Umrah. And it was like, I think we went to Umrah because my mum was like, she wanted to go to Umrah. So we went to Umrah, and from Saudi Arabia, we went to Bangladesh. Do you know what I mean? And that was the trip. That's why we said it was 6 weeks, because we're going to go to Umrah, and after Umrah, we're going to go to Bangladesh and we're going to come back. Do you know what I mean? When we went there, we wasn't coming back. Do you know what I mean? We wasn't coming back.
I can relate to many stories like that.
And as much as there's elements of that I loved. I absolutely loved, because that taught me a lot about my culture, about my roots, and just like being just seeing people from a different perspective that's not first world. Do you know what I mean? We love to be in the village. We didn't want to be in the city. We wanted to be in the village. We wanted to fish. We wanted to swim. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it was terribly lonely. There was no emotional support from like my parents. So we just had to just get on with it. My brother was sent to an Islamic school, an Islamic boarding school.
Yeah, I remember. There was and there was also a big culture shock for you guys, like considering like what you've been used to in the UK.
And then being stuck at home because obviously at that time you can't really travel without a male chaperone or a driver or whatever. So you just have to make use of it. And then like my aunt visit, and I was just waiting for someone to visit. Do you know what I mean? Like they would visit. My aunt came, she bought me an iPod, like, you know, like the Apple at that time.
Yeah.
What's it called again?
Was it the
AirPod or what was it?
No, it's not AirPod. I know exactly what you mean. You had to download the music and everything.
My cousin downloaded all the songs for me.
Yeah. I forgot the name. Guys, if you know the name, let me know.
Downloaded all the songs for me. And then like I bought all the DVDs, and I used to journal a lot. And one thing about me is I didn't know I was ADHD at that time. But just to contain my thoughts, and I used to journal a lot and storytell, and that's just how I coped. And honestly, I was telling you, I was literally planning a million escape routes. Like I had a phone, I had credit, I was texting my friends. I was like, oh my God, what are we gonna do? And my friends were like, bro, you need to go to the embassy. Like my parents didn't even know this. I was plotting a whole escape.
Do you know what? Like, you're not the only one, because I've known people that have actually dealt with that as well, especially from my country. So their parents will tell them they're going to go on a holiday. Yeah, we're going to go Dubai on a holiday, you know, and then we'll go. Sometimes they don't even say we're going to go back home. They go to Dubai. They'll be like, yo, we're going on a holiday there. And then they're like, you know what? We're just around the corner from back home. You know what I mean? Let's go and say hi to granddad and stuff like that. Oh, he's like, yeah, let's go. Before you know it. And the thing is, I'm not sure how it was with you, but the stories that I've come across, they even confiscate the passport. So you won't have access to that as well. A lot of parents don't know there is a second option. Like, do you know what I mean? There's always ways of coming back. That's one thing that a lot of parents don't know. Do you know what I mean? And
I was fortunate enough that there was no pressure of marriage. I did get like proposals.
You're lucky you didn't get into arranged marriage.
Nobody's forcing me, bro. Because one thing about me, you ain't gonna force me. But nobody was forcing me. Like even like we did get whatever, but I wasn't married. Like, do you know what I mean? I haven't even lived my life. But luckily for me, at the same time, a lot of my cousins visited, so I had interactions with my cousins and whatever. But the saddest part was they had to go home.
It's temporary. It's a temporary stay.
I stayed there for about like I think almost 2 years.
Going from 6 weeks holiday, you know,
to 2 years.
To 2 years. I bet you came back speaking fluently as well. No.
Yeah.
And that's what happens to a lot of people from my country as well. They go over there, when they come back, it's just like, now he looks like, you know, he was actually born there. Like he was born there. So it's do you still like have you ever asked your parents like why? Like why did you just say that we were gonna go there for 2 years or something, like, you know what I mean? Or did you never really think about it?
But I've got a lot of whys to ask my parents deep down inside. You know what I mean? I've never asked them. I think my dad regrets it. Do you know what I mean? They don't want to admit it. You know, like admitting, like taking accountability is like a loss in it. It's like you just, it's probably in their head like it's a failure, like they've done thing, but it wasn't good. It wasn't good for, at that time you don't realize, but I think it wasn't good for my mental health. It certainly wasn't good for my brothers.
Because your brother went to Islamic boarding school, and you said that was
because also my brother's life was completely different to mine. So because I grew up seeing my parents live a very moderate life, and I have a moderate lifestyle, liberal lifestyle, I can see like the difference. My brother, and then I think it was the thing that they didn't want my brother to be like me, like open spirit, like free spirit. So and
he's younger than you.
He's 6 years younger than me. So when my mum became religious, like she put him in an Islamic school, and his days were like in the morning you wake up and you're reading Quran, then you're going to school, then whatever, you're going to an Islamic school, then you come home, you eat, you're back into reading Quran. It was a continuous, it was very regimented.
And that was an
And
everyday thing?
That was every
No
day.
day off.
And he never played out. He played out sometimes, but not as much. And they would like give him like computer games and this and that, eat whatever you want to eat. And that was a treat for him, but that was his mission. And that was sad because a lot of his childhood was stripped from him because it was just schooling. And then you went to Bangladesh to go to a boarding school.
Yeah. No, I feel you.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that makes me sad thinking about it because now he's developed like certain characteristics that I feel were induced to him because of the life that he had. And that's poor decision making. That was poor decision making of my parents. That's cultural pressure, say, or religious pressure that didn't need to happen. And I feel like that's the reason why my brother made certain decisions in his life now, or is a certain way because of that.
I get it. And do you also feel like, and this is not to give your parents like for me to be on that. It's not because I agree what they did, but I can also see, on the other hand, why they did it. The message was good, but it was the delivery. So meaning they had the right intentions, but the impact that it actually caused was a lot greater than the actual intention. So I know, like, you would want your child to, especially as parents, when you're young, you're still learning. Do you know what I mean? So you're still trying to figure out as a parent. There's a lot of things that you learn on the job. Do you know what I mean? So it's like when you make a certain decision, you want the best for your child. You don't want your child to turn out a certain way. And your parents thought that would probably be the best move at that point. Do you know what I mean? They might regret it now. And it's like, I'm not saying, you know, your parents were wrong for what they did. Do you get what I mean? I could see why they did it, but I can also see how it's impacted you guys. Are you with me? So I do always tell, like, my advice, I'm not a parent, so I can never advise parents. But if I became a parent, like, inshallah, one day, it's like, I want to keep it 100, you know, so that they don't have any resentment towards me in the end. But this is only things that I've learned by seeing what's going around me. Do you know what I mean? By seeing how certain individuals have been affected. But had I not known that, you know, growing up as like me parenting, it would be me on the job again. But I'm learning from other parents and seeing how they conduct certain things. Do you get what I mean? So I'm not, of course, like saying, yo, they right and they did the right thing. But I see to a certain degree why they did it. But it was also not the greatest of choice. So
I just feel like, in all honesty, I love my parents.
Yeah.
But my parents were both very well educated and they were around very educated people. So I would understand from a perspective that they didn't know, or it's ignorance, or that's what they thought suit fit because they've came from the village and whatever. But no, my dad was very heavily involved in politics, standing up for human rights. And on the island, there's a lot of racism, and he had built a lobby called the Bengali Action Community, and they help people of color have a voice. So he's a sound mind.
Yeah.
And also with my mum, she studied until university. So I don't know the reasons why they chose to make those decisions. And maybe my dad was just letting my mum be herself as well, because that's the choices she made. Because my dad wasn't religious at the same time my mum was.
Got you.
Do you get it? So maybe my dad was supporting his woman. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. That's what she wants to do. And because my dad's always let my mum do whatever she wanted to do. He was never that, even though his family was very traditional and very cultural. My dad never, ever pressured my mum to wear hijab, never pressured my mum to do anything my mum does is out of her own accord. Do you know what I mean? He's never told her, like, I've never even if she says, I'm going on a diet, my mother's going to say, why? Why are you getting on a diet for? Because he never told her to be anything other than what she wanted to be.
I think you know, how your dad has dealt with that part. Like, I have to give it to him. And the only reason is being, he wasn't trying to change her into something he wanted to change her into.
Yeah.
And a lot of sisters have like suffered from that.
Yeah.
And they made decision based upon what their husband has told them.
Yeah.
So whether that is covering up, wearing a scarf, doing XYZ, and when they end up being like divorced or whatever, now they back to not wearing a scarf, back to how they were before, which shows, and that's the thing. The powerful move that your dad has made is, look at your mom now. Like, she made a decision based upon, you know, alhamdulillah, she met a sister at work, and she got motivated by that sister in a deen perspective, and she changed willingly. Do you get it? So, me personally, I have to give it up for that one, because that was a good move. But a lot of sisters do suffer from that, you know, being pressurized.
Yeah.
A lot of guys would meet a sister a certain way, you know, wearing certain clothes or whatever, and thinking, oh, okay, I can turn her into a wifey. You know what I mean? Well, marriage comes along now, and they married, the ring is on it. Now you got to go from A to Z, which meaning from dressing that to completely being covered up, you know, and it's just bam, bam, bam. And I get it that guys want their wife to cover up, but you also got to be sure if that's what you want.
Yeah.
You have to make that clear from the get-go.
Yeah.
Not when you get married.
Yeah.
So I do hear that. So you came back to the UK.
Yeah.
And you went to uni. I mean, you went to college, you know, and then you went to uni, graduated, and then we fast forward a little bit. You met someone, and like, what was that experience like when you met someone? And this is like the first serious thing for yourself, I'm assuming.
Yeah. So when I came back, that's when I think that was the mission of finding out who I am. So I had the most amount of fun. I made up for the 2 years, by the way. I was partying, me and my friend, I was linking up with my friends, not from like the secondary school, my friends from the madrasa. We were linking up.
Okay. That's crazy.
We were linking up.
Do you remember?
Because they were like, because now we finished secondary school, but I went, and they're who I'm supposed to be linking up with, because they were my mates from year 7, right? We didn't. I don't regret anything. Respectfully, I don't. I had a very, very good time. And it was like me finding who I was. I loved the fact that I was Bengali. I loved the fact that that was my culture. But I am also unapologetically me. Do you know what I mean? And so I guess like through that journey, I was just trying to like figure out where that fits without feeling guilty. Do you know what I mean? Because I felt like people, because I went to Umrah, because I went to Bangladesh, I should be back in that box. Do you know what I mean? But I was never in that box. So I can't just be there because I lived in Bangladesh for 2 years. When I was in uni, so I got my first job, River Island. And I met this guy. He was fun. We was just like, I didn't know. I was not a kid, but you know what I mean? I wasn't thinking like that.
Early 20s.
Early 20s. No, like maybe like 18, 19. Like,
No, you're right, because you went 16 back home.
So
still.
I met this guy. He was really fun. We worked together, and then we were just in a relationship, going out, whatever. But I felt like, because I didn't know, or because of my own experiences, I'm a big empath. So now I'm in a relationship with somebody that had issues, and family issues, and probably some mental health issues. And I was just trying to be that ride or that girlfriend, you know what I mean? And I thought like I was trying to support that person and help build. I think that's where my root of building the man them up like that.
Okay, that's when it started.
That's when it started, I think, like for me. You know, like I think he was homeless, and I used my uni money, like the student finance, to put a deposit down for the house so that he had somewhere to live. It was good for me because you couldn't bring your boyfriend to your mum's house, so there was a cottage. All my friends used to chill there and whatever. But I didn't realize how much that had affected me mentally, to bear the burden and do the emotional labor of somebody else's. You know what I mean? Mental health or whatever. And then it got a lot. Like it got too intense, and then eventually that relationship broke up. And I think he was actually the one to break up with me. By the way, no guys ever broke up with me. I'm the leaver.
Okay, but you know what? Real.
Yeah.
That's real. That's real. Like I like really raw. Or like when someone keeps it raw like that, I like that. I respect that. And what was the reason why he?
I think he was like up and down. He was like, again, one thing about me, I'm heavy on my faith. Yeah, regardless of whether I'm wearing hijab or not, you have to be Muslim. That's a deal breaker. Like for me, I don't even get in a relationship with somebody seriously unless they have the intentions to be Muslim or they are Muslim. That's just one thing.
Was he Muslim?
Wasn't at the time.
Okay, got you.
Right? He wasn't at the time. And then he was trying to like, then he was interested, but he was questioning it a lot and then almost taking it out on me like, well, it's fake or this, that, and the other. And then I think off the back of that, he wanted to break up with me. But by then I just already made up my mind that I wasn't happy here. So I never went back. And then he was like still trying to get me back. And I just didn't care because one thing about me is that I will love you to the moon and back. But the moment, and I'll give my all, but after that, there's nothing to give. So if it's in the bin, I'm gonna go because I've done my best and there's nothing I regret. Do you know what I mean?
And that's kind of like, so you're saying he called it quits at that time purely based upon the faith because he was questioning a lot of things about Muslim.
I think he was still finding himself. I think like it was deeper than that. Like I don't want to speak about him like that, but I think there was much deeper issues than that. At the time, I didn't know. I was 18, 19. I thought I knew. Do you know what I mean? And I didn't. And he was a bit older than me. He was in his 20s. So I guess there was a lot of things. But you know what? I didn't have a good upbringing from what I understood. So I don't know if that played a part. At that time, I couldn't comprehend what he was actually trying to say and do. Do you know what I mean?
What's that name called? Trauma, what was it? Trauma bonding. Could it be that as well? Maybe. But also, he had some challenges like mentally as well. So that could play a big
but at
big
that
part.
time, I didn't understand it.
You didn't understand it?
Yeah, I didn't understand
When did you notice that was the case? Did he actually tell you or like how did that come?
I understood it because I know
the signs.
When I knew that I didn't want, that is not a life that I wanted.
Okay.
So after that, me and my friends, it was like the peak of us, like in uni, going out, road trips, whatever. And we were having fun. And I'm like, well, that's not my life. Why would you want to be in a relationship so young? As well, you know what I mean? And I guess that boils
and also
down to,
so miserable.
But I guess that boils down to culture because imagine in Bangladesh they were trying to marry me off. So I had to think that, you know, growing up in a predominantly Muslim family or a Bengali family, marriage is always on the table. Do you know what I mean? So eventually you always think that you're going to get, if you want to find your own person, not an arranged marriage, you're going to get married to that person.
Back home it's like that as well.
But for me, I'm telling you now, and I wouldn't advise anybody in their early 20s to be thinking about marriage. Religiously, to stop you from doing haram, but there is so much of life to get and so much things to understand. Do you know what I mean?
And to grow.
And we're always thinking about marriage. I was, because that was expected of me. And that at 37 that I found my feet and I know my boundaries and what to say no to and who I am as a person. But if I had spent more time knowing that and not worried about, and also I want to touch on this as well, a lot of girls that come from Islamic or very cultural background, I can only speak for South Asian community, use marriage as an escape. From their parents' rules and their parents, you know, that to gain freedom.
I've heard that before, but I just never really turned. Sorry to cut you off, but yeah, go on.
So a lot of girls that I speak to, especially on TikTok on my lives, is that a lot of girls get married young because they want the freedom. They want to leave. They want to come out of because when you're in your parents' house, there's curfew. There's curfew. You can't do this. You can't do that. Don't talk to boys. Don't do all of these rules. And to get away from that, they use marriage. But guess what? Some of them, because they're desperate for the freedom, they're marrying the wrong guys. And they're in worse off positions. And then they're left in abusive relationships, early pregnancy, all of these things. But they get away eventually. But they suffer the parents, they suffer the marriage, and then afterwards they get their own house or they get whatever, and that's when they find their freedom, and that's a sad thing.
Very, very.
Do you know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
a sad thing.
Yeah.
And I guess I was a monk. I didn't think of it that deeply because my parents were never fully strict on me getting married, but they were getting strict about when are you coming home and why, and I wanted my own life. So I guess I thought in my subconscious mind that if I find someone and I get married, then I'm gonna move out their house and they can't fucking touch it to me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whatever. So
I got you. I know. So like you were at that point where you was having fun, like we'll pick it up from there, and you're on this road trip, you meet another guy, you know what I mean? And we're gonna fast forward this quite so we can get everything in as well. But you met another guy. You felt like, I'm not too sure, he was
he was really fun, by the way. He was really fun. Complete opposite to the guy that I was seeing. He was very like what I thought alpha male. One thing about me, I'm the oldest child.
Yeah.
I'm the glass child, and I have been the decision maker in a lot of things in my family and now. My nan grew me, like my dad's mom. She's a very dominant alpha female. Her children are like that, very headstrong, strong-minded. Do you know what I mean? And so when I met him, he was like that. Do you get it? Like he never like pressured me, but he was the man's man, a man's man, especially compared to who I was seeing.
Yeah. I got
do you know what I mean?
Got you.
And he was very fun, and we did a lot of like things that we used to go on parties together. We used to go, and all our friends were like integrated and stuff. But he was he's like 5 years older than me. He had kids and he was like outside. And
did you know about that he had kids?
Yeah.
Okay.
I knew he had kids, but I didn't care because I didn't care at the time, because I'll tell you why. At that time,
it's not even about
he wasn't Muslim. So even though I was dating him, I always knew that me and him are not gonna be together forever.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, but
you were just having fun.
But we spent like every day together, like with each other, and then our friends as well. Do you know what I mean? And so eventually your feelings get caught up, whatever, and it's not making sense. I felt very hard done by it, like, because by the end, my friend sat me down and she was like, "Bro, he's too toxic. Like, what are you doing?"
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then we just had to. He went to like Jamaica, and then when he came back, I was gone. And
where you disappeared?
Yeah, I literally disappeared
without breaking up.
Yeah, I was gone. Like,
how? Like number changed?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and he knew my parents were strict, so he couldn't turn up at my house.
Damn.
But I was gone. But I felt very hard done by. But I knew that
was hard done by, and what?
Like, because I knew that was the guy I wanted, but I didn't want that the other excess baggage, not his kids, but like the women. And there was women that were calling me. Like, imagine, like big women are calling me and saying to me, "How do you know?" That's my man. What do you mean? How do I know? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's not my life.
Yeah.
Do you get it?
That is not my life. To the house one day, it'd be like,
nobody turned up to my house, but
I'm saying is, imagine if you guys ended up being a thing and married or whatever, and now women turn up to the house.
That's embarrassing. I couldn't bring that to my parents as well.
Yeah.
So I just dipped. Like, for me, I just said that is not my life. But his actual personality and who he was, I knew that that's the kind of man that I wanted. Do you know what I mean? In terms of like being the decision maker, alpha. Like, I didn't have to ask him for nothing. Like, he would make sure everything's done. Do you know what I mean? But again, it came at a cost. So, and it wasn't a price that I was willing to pay. So
I got you. So we're gonna get into, you met another person.
Yeah.
Had kids as well.
Yeah.
And you wanted to get married to, like, you felt like you could get married to this person, but you also felt like he was a bit controlling.
So after that, I think eventually me and my best friend at the time, we just knew we were going to get religious one day. You know what? We have to, because that's a part of us. We went to Islamic school. Our parents are religious. We're going to have to stop this party life and we're going to get practicing one day. And then obviously there's been so many, we haven't got time, but there's so many things that's happened in between, like these partners who were, it wasn't consecutive.
Yeah.
We were
Might do a part 2, man. You never know.
We were working, whatever, me and my girls, like, you know, we just had finished uni, stuff like that, getting on with life. And eventually we knew that we was going to, you know, become religious and whatever. So I met this guy. It was the BBM days. Do you remember the BBM? Yeah. So
Hey, listen, if you grew up on a BBM, oh my God, you know.
So I think, I don't even know how I got his like ad or whatever. Anyway, we just started talking. Well, not like I'm serious, whatever, right? And then he was much older than me and I didn't know. He lied about his age. Yeah. He was like 10 years older than me.
He was saying, but he
lied about his age. He made out he was like 5 years older than me.
Yeah.
And not only that,
guys always, you know, want to get closer to that age.
But he was a big man. He was a big man. He had his woman, but apparently it was his baby mother, and he had like big kids. Yeah. At that time, you know, I was in uni. I was working, like just being normal. We were just talking, whatever, and then I think we just linked up a couple of times, and he was Muslim as well, and I was like, okay, cool. So he had all the characteristics as like the guy that I was seeing before. I was like, all right, cool. But he was a big man. Obviously, he would. Do you know what I mean?
But he was a road man as well.
Yeah, he was. I like my fair share.
Do you know what it is? Did you feel like, damn, like the first guy that I met? I mean, the last one that you was with, he was a road man.
Yeah.
Had kids, etc. Came with certain issues and stuff like that. And this is not to throw shades at any man that's a road man or whatever, because there are road men that are proper stand-up guys. Do you know what I mean? That handle their business, whether they got kids or not. But when you meet someone and then you see that this guy's a road man, and then you meet another road man, you know.
That's all I know. I'm not gonna lie, that's all I know. I tell you why. Because I grew up like my cousins, like amongst them. Do you know what I mean? My friends, like it's not something that I shy away from. Like I grew up in East London. Do you know what I mean? I was never sheltered from that. And I was a bit thuggy myself. Back in the days, you know what I mean? We used to listen to rap. We was like
dressing up like Aaliyah and the bandana.
No, literally. Yeah, Aaliyah DMX. So that was enticing at the time.
Okay,
do you know what I mean? The Badman era, like, you know? So that didn't bother me. It should have, but it didn't. Do you get it? So, and because I was already like the black sheep of my family, like, so that I was amongst them. Do you get it? So at that time, whether he was from the roads or not, it should have bothered me, but it didn't at the time.
Yeah. And you was young as well. But like you said, that's all you knew at that point.
Yeah, that's all I knew. Yeah.
No, I got you. And you guys ended up, what part was controlling about him?
So basically this is what happened. Like he was fun. He was good. He was very much like, in my head, very much like, you know when people say that girl's got daddy issues? I don't have daddy issues. The only thing, because my dad is absolutely the best, but my dad was a very protector, provider. So he was always working. He had multiple businesses. He wasn't present at home. So I didn't have my dad's emotional, you know, presence. Financial presence all day long. So for now to meet someone that was like alpha male, that was about his money, about his whatever, and now I have this emotional, you know what I mean? He was like filling that void. But I liked him a lot because he used to, do you know what? He treated me good. He didn't treat me bad. He treated me good, but the controlling aspect was he appeared to be not obsessed, but he liked me a lot. And I used to think, well, it's better than the guy that I was linked before, because he was linking a million girls. Do you know what I mean? Whereas this guy is fully about me. But I later on realized that he wasn't about me. He saw me as a possession of him. Do you know what I mean? And the language that he spoke. And I didn't realize that at the time, by the way. I was just crazy in love with him. And I wanted to marry him. I introduced him to my parents, by the way. Yeah, he was the first guy that I introduced to my parents. He very well knew he didn't want to marry. He wasn't going to marry me. Yeah. I started to get religious. I started to go to Brixton Mosque. I started to go to Streatham Mosque. I started to wear hijab. I was like do you know, this is what I want. And he had no intentions of that. So I felt very betrayed because I never brought a guy to my parents ever. And he was the first guy that I brought to my parents. And then he embarrassed me. He humiliated me because I didn't know that he had his family and all of these things. Do you know what I mean?
So you didn't actually know he had kids?
No, I knew he had kids.
But you didn't know he was still married?
Listen, or I don't even know if he was married, but he was still with his baby mother.
Okay, got you.
Because I found this all out years later.
Okay.
Do you get it? And it took me a long while. And to be honest, how I realized that I didn't recognize at the time of his like being controlling and stuff. It was only until like after my marriage had broken down that I thought about the decisions I made and the types of men I chose and the voids I was filling. So the first guy was so I wanted to find someone that's completely different to him. Then I had to find a guy completely different to him.
Okay.
I was running from myself. I was running from these voids. It wasn't about them. So then when I thought about him and what went wrong, and I realized that even like we actually rekindled after I got my divorce, but in like we were just speaking, and he would see me in certain spaces and he'd be like, well, why would you go there? That's my youngest. Why would you be amongst this person? That? And I'm like, why does that matter to you? But because he feels like I belong to him still. Yeah. Because he also believes that I left him and got married. Like he believed that I was that much of his possession.
But you know when sorry to cut you off, when you brought him to your parents' house, what happened at that point? Like you said, he done
my
you
mum
dirt.
loves him.
So what did he do in
Nothing.
order?
He came to my parents' house. It wasn't like a marriage meeting or whatever. He came to my parents' house. He got introduced to my parents. My parents loved him. He was very nice. He was mashallah it up. Alhamdulillah. He had the he was a revert, but he had the vocabulary, everything.
Yeah.
But eventually started telling me some BS about things happening in his life, and it made it out like I was wanting. I imagined it like we're not even like that. And like those kind of conversations, he was making it out like we wasn't even like we was.
Okay.
Like I'm pushing the relationship to be much bigger than it was, and creating doubt that it was more me than him, and I know what do you know what I mean? And at that time I thought, what? Like you're going on like you didn't want to talk. You wasn't talking about marriage with me. You wasn't talking about children with me. You wasn't talking about getting a house with me. Do you know what I mean? Telling me about your kids and saying, oh my God, you're going to really like my elder. She's going to, you're telling me these things. You coerced me into this. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And you was older than me. So of course it's going to be fun because your baby mother's asking you for money. Your baby mother's asking you for childcare, child support, being present, real like men responsibility. And I feel like older men only see younger girls because there's no responsibility. You can take her out, buy her trainers, take her to dinner, whatever, it's okay. Whereas like older women are asking you for rent, insurance, bills, things that matter. So that's what was happening because he had a driver that was taking me places. I didn't drive then. Taking me places. He was buying me trainers. It was whatever. And I thought, oh yeah, my man. When in reality, that was easy for him because there is another woman that's asking for more important stuff. By right, she should. But
that's that is mad.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. So eventually, till now, I mean, are you guys?
I ran away from that situation as well. I dipped. I ghosted.
I ghosted. Blocked the number, changed the number.
Yeah, both ghosted. Never see me again because what I'm thinking about.
When was the last time you spoke to him?
The last time. So at that time when I broke up with him, I disappeared, ghosted, blocked everything.
Yeah.
The last time I spoke to him was actually 2 years ago, which I'll tell you that he actually came back seeking a relationship. Telling me that maybe we can work something out. But he came with the same cards. And if you, at 21, you dealt these cards, you can't bring me those same cards at 37.
Yeah, that's mad.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's crazy.
But now I know who I am.
Yeah.
And now I know what I want, and that doesn't work for me.
Do you get it? Guys ain't spoken since?
No.
Yeah. So, but probably you set the boundary straight this time and you wasn't going to fall for the same thing.
Of course not.
Yeah. No, I get you.
Of course not. But again, a lot of his things were I can't lock in because you were here, you spoke to this person, you was doing this. And I'm like, I don't belong to you. And I never belonged to you. He even thought that me getting married to my ex-husband was that I cheated on him and got married. And I was like, no, I didn't. You dealt with me so bad. I barely spoke to you, but he said I didn't wait around to find out how it unraveled. I wasn't going to. Do you know what I mean? I wasn't going to. I'm not somebody that you found just like that. Like, no tea, no shade to anybody else, but for me, I came from a like 2-parent home. I studied up until university. I've always worked, so I always had my own shit. Do you know what I mean? So you're not here to rescue me emotionally. Yes, somewhat. I felt like you did because, as I said, like especially with ethnic parents, there's a lack of emotional presence, and so maybe that was the lack. But in terms of you wasn't doing anything that my dad didn't already show me, you know?
Makes sense.
So I just dipped.
Yeah. No, 100%. And what did you feel like that you've actually learned from being with these guys? Like what like,
I know what I don't want anymore. Yeah.
You don't want a road man.
No, I like my man a bit thuggy, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
No, I think what I've learned is
you like a guy a bit thuggy.
Yeah, a little bit thuggy. Has to be. Yeah. To be honest, I think like it's not about these guys. It's about my perception of love and what love is. And for me, when you love from a place of lack, and that could be because of trauma, that could be because of so many things, you're desperate. And then you choose things and you like hold on to things that don't entirely serve you. And I feel like in my age now, and what I've learned is that I'm a lover girl. I've always been a lover girl. Do you know what I mean? I don't regret no love that I've given anybody, any of them. Do you know what I mean? I don't regret it. I am love. So for me, it's that I can love you to the moon and back, but I also know that if this love was to end, I'm good. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not loving from desperation. I'm not loving from lack. I'm not loving because to fill a void. I'm loving because I want to love. It's my choice. And if you abuse that love, you will no longer have access to that love. And that's okay. And I'm good with that. And I guess that's detachment. Detachment isn't something that means that you have to be horrible, you have to be mean, you have to be whatever. Detachment just means that to know that you're good with or without another person.
Yeah.
And that doesn't have to be romantic. That could be platonic. That could be your family. That could, do you know what I mean? Like sometimes we hold on to, and we suffer to save that love. Do you know what I mean? It's my mom or it's my dad or it's my brother, and I can't. And we're shrinking ourselves. But in reality, when you set healthy boundaries and you don't overextend, you love as much as you want to, but without compromising who you are. I think that's the best form of love. And that's where I am right now.
Okay.
So I'm loving from a space of wholeness. Whether love stays or goes, I'm still good, you know? And that's what these relationships didn't teach me that. I feel like experiencing things that I have in my life, it's just knowing when to say no and actually giving myself the kindness that I offer other people. You know, your body is the only home that you have. You can't compromise that for somebody else's body or somebody else, you know? So for me to just say, you know what, I'm going to say no. This doesn't serve me. I don't like this. This is making me get anxiety or not feel good. And I'm going to say no to that. And that's okay. And I'm good. Do you know what I mean? And if somebody doesn't like that, then they're not good for me, you know? And that's okay.
That makes sense. Honestly, like, what a story. I mean, I have to say, because you've given a lot of juice, dropped a lot of juice, you know, for a lot of young females that are in this cycle, you know, not knowing how to escape or running away from themselves without knowing that they're running away from themselves, you know, not knowing what they want, you know, or get confused by looks or what love is or what, you know. So I feel like, honestly, thank you so much, because this gives a lot of insight to how someone with that much of like hurdles that you've been through yourself has dealt with. Considering you went back home, you know what I mean, and just being in that culture. Another thing about back home is that I wanted to point out was about the marriage thing. It's so easy for our culture, I'm not sure with yours, for someone to be like, oh, you know what? Like, I have a son for you. My
Yeah.
son, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like, do you know what? Yeah, oh, is it? Yeah, I've got to, like, I can link you to this business. I know someone, like, it's that easy, happens back home. They're like, oh, I'll give you my daughter, and you'd be surprised the amount of times I went back home and
Yeah.
some auntie or some ladies be like, yeah, I'll give you my daughter. Don't even know me. You've just seen
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
I ain't even spoken yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's mad. But honestly, I want to thank you so much. And because we're running out of time, I definitely want to do a part 2.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Guys, part 2, let me know if you guys want to see it, because we still would like to unpack your marriage, previous marriage, and how that unfolded, how things are for you now. We also want to unpack the relationship that you have with your parents and with your mom specifically. And I think it's a very important topic to touch up on for the viewers as well. And yeah, man. So I do honestly want to thank you. This is not something that I usually do, but I've started doing this recently. But do you have any questions for me? She ain't got no questions.
I don't know what to ask.
Yeah, no, that's fine. If you don't have no questions, then it's okay.
How does it feel from your perspective, being the listening ear, to hear such stories? Like, how does that, especially because as a Muslim man, how does that make you feel to know that, and to know that a lot of girls, a lot of sisters that's amongst our community are going through these things that can actually be, I guess, nipped in the butt from early with the right education or enlightenment or whatever? Like, how does that make you feel, knowing that there are so many of us that have actually gone through stuff like this?
Yeah, it's disheartening, because like I have sisters. I've grown up with my sisters, and to do things in a strictly manner, like to be very strict, especially from young age. It's, as a kid, you're never gonna know what's right or what's wrong, and you're still on that learning curve, especially within the deen. So like I've come across like families that would literally, physically put hands on the kids because they haven't learned a certain thing or whatever. But instead of doing that, why not ban them from things that they love doing, for example, which is less harmful to them.
Yeah.
So if they like playing outside all the time, but okay, well, guess what?
Yeah.
This weekend, you're not going to play with your friends. You know what I mean? You're not playing PlayStation this week or whatever. Or, these are little things that I do with my nephew or nieces.
Yeah.
If they haven't finished their homework, like I know we're talking about Dean, same thing.
Yeah.
So, and if they do come through with something and they learn something within the Dean, to be able to reward them.
Of course.
And not just to put the scarf on them, but for them to understand why they're actually wearing it from a young. It's important to start them up from a very young age. I think for women at the right age will be probably maybe around 7. It'll be a very reasonable age, but also understand why they are wearing it. Those little things. But it's quite disheartening, like to of course see a lot of girls that do struggle with that, and then become something, that because they've been affected by it from young age and been pushed to do it. And if you don't do it, and it's almost like an escape route, you know what I mean? And you've never known better.
Yeah.
So it is heartbreaking, of course, to hear that, because whether it's my sisters or other sisters, it's still sisters, So yeah, but I do advise people to have, the right formula and etc. Not to put them in any, situations where they could feel like they're being harmed, and where they end up hating the deen or the
Yeah.
religion,
Yeah.
they're supposed to love it, you know? So, yeah, man. That's
Okay,
all it
that's
is.
good.
Yeah. Any last messages for the viewers that you want to give out? If you check out the camera there, and guys, we've just unpacked. But yeah, roll out.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm shy.
Whatever you want to get off your chest.
There's nothing
Just yeah.
to get off my chest.
Yeah, anything, any message for the viewers, the last message?
Viewers, I think this is what I say to all the women that actually follow me on TikTok and watch my lives. First of all, follow me on TikTok, Lala Lives.
We're gonna put all the socials on there.
Yeah. Is that a lot of the times I'm always speaking about love. And one thing I will say is that God gave us an array of emotions for a reason. And we glamorize anger and jealousy and sadness and depression all the time. But yet when it comes to love, we're getting told like, you're foolish for loving. You know what I mean? And if we can get angry 1,000 times, and if we can, get sad 1,000 times or jealous 1,000 times, why can't we love 1,000 times? And I feel like love is an experience. So our experience through life isn't to find love, it's to experience love and the quality of love that we want. You know what I'm saying?
And also for love to be on the list, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that should be the last thing you should think about on the list.
Yeah.
Love, because what love can do to you for man could end up unaliving someone just based upon love.
Yeah.
Women can be blinded by love.
Yeah.
But when you have a purpose and you know that this person can give you support, stability, those things that can just help you in life.
When I'm even speaking about love, I'm not even speaking about it from a romantic perspective. I'm speaking about loving yourself in that way. Do you know what I mean?
Got you.
Like it's not about that truly, madly, deeply romantic love. It's that love is also always associated with romance and flowers, but sometimes it's just to love yourself.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? To love yourself and to unlearn and relearn what love actually is. And like you said, it's purpose. For me, the highest form of love is consideration. Do you know what I mean? Because if you consider somebody,
it's powerful,
yeah, you wouldn't, if you love them, you consider them. And if you consider them, then you have to put your ego aside. And then you will do certain things and respect them in spaces that they're not even in. Do you know what I mean? And people, I don't even have the capacity. Kindness is the highest form of love. People don't have the capacity because we're so used to thinking love means performative dinners and roses and this and that. And it's not.
Yeah.
So when I speak about love, I don't speak about love necessarily between a man and a woman. I just feel like love in general on a bigger scale, whether it's personal, love your children, or we don't have to tolerate bad love from even our parents. And sometimes we are taught struggle love because that's your mum and you have to love her like that. Or you know what I mean? And we suffer under the umbrella of love and we don't need to.
I got you. Powerful. Honestly, thank you so much for coming. I appreciate you. Guys, we're going to do a part 2 because we're not finished with this story.
We're not.
We're going to lock this in as soon as possible. Yeah, man. Guys, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. And click that like, click that notification bell, and hit that subscribe button so you know every time I upload. And please, don't just watch the videos. Click that subscribe button. It's free, man. It's just one click away. And yeah, man, until next time, it's your boy Rakeem with Unpacked and Lala here in the building. And I'll see you guys next time, man. Roll out.